Hey guys, it's Carissa and welcome to my channel. Today I will be doing the unfortunate book tag, which was created by Alex from What Page Are You On? And this book tag relates to the series of unfortunate events written by Lemony Snicket. Now that's a series that I mentioned before that I love and adore, and I think it's amazing. And also there's a Netflix show and the second season has came out recently, and so I just thought it would be fun to go ahead and do this tag since I like the book and I love the series. I think Neil Patrick Harris is amazing in it, as he is in everything. There are 13 questions in this tag, so let's get started. The first question is, a book you would consider a fortunate slow burn. I'm going to have to go with a fantasy written by Brandon Sanderson. I think any fantasy is a long, slow burn. It takes a while to introduce the world and the characters and everything else that has to go on in those series. And the series I choose is the Stormlight Archives. I am currently in the middle of reading it. I have read the first 2 books, and it is a very long, very huge, daunting series to start, so I'm glad I finally just got into it. The first 2 books are over 1,000 pages, and I'm currently waiting for the 3rd one at the library, so I haven't checked how many pages that has, but I wouldn't doubt that it has over 1,000 as well, so that would definitely be a long, slow burn. I can tell you that I am really enjoying it, and I don't know if I can wait the full time it takes to get it from the library. I might just have to go buy it. I just want to finish it. I hate reading a series over a long length of time. I need to read it fast. The next question is a book with an unfortunate death. And there are lots of books I could choose from, but I'm going to have to go with the Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling. It's probably not the first death that you think of, and it's probably not the second one, but there is one character in here who dies, and it just makes me so sad every time I think about it. The next question is a book with an unfortunate setting you would not want to live in. For this, I went with Still Heart by Brandon Sanderson. This is a young adult series, and it's where something happens in the world and a bunch of people start getting superpowers. Only instead of there being a good guy stepping up and being a superhero, it seems that everyone who has powers has turned evil, and they are now completely in charge of the world and the world structure, and everybody who doesn't have powers is forced to live by whatever rules these supervillains decide are right. That would just stink. I wouldn't like it. Question number 4, a book that was unfortunately laborious to read. I'm going to have to go with Eldest by Christopher Paolini. I really love the Aragon series. It's been a while since I've read it, but I remember that when I got to the second book, it went really slow for me, and it took me forever to get through the second book. I really enjoyed the rest of them after this, but out of all the books in the series, this is definitely my least favorite, and it took me the longest to read. Question number 5, the best book featuring a fortunate friendship. A lot of books that I read have great friendships in them, but I'm going to go with The Host by Stephanie Meyer. An unexpected friendship happens in this book, and I just think it's great when something like that can happen. So, question number 6, a book that unfortunately no one talks about. I'm going to have to go with Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. This is an older book, so that could be why it's not talked about very much, but honestly, it's one of my favorite. If it's not my all-time favorite, it's my second favorite book. I wish more people would talk about it and read it and love it. Question number 7. A book that unfortunately or fortunately transformed or haunts you. And this one, I'm going to go with one that's middle of the road. It fortunately and unfortunately transformed me, and it still kind of haunts me to this day, and that is a book called A Child Called It, written by Dave Pelzer. This book is an autobiography about Dave Pelzer's childhood. He was very seriously abused by his mother, and I remember reading that book in high school, and just all the horrors that go on in that book definitely changed who I am and my perspective on life, and it's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but it did change how I view some things, so It's a great book. It is very sad and very disturbing, and I cried through the whole thing. There's also a second book called A Lost Boy, and they're just great books. Terrible, but great. Question number 8. An unfortunately overhyped book. I'm going to have to go with The Death Cure by James Dashner. This is the final book in the trilogy, The Maze Runner, and I really enjoyed The Maze Runner. The first book in the series was really great. The second book was okay, and then I got to this third book and I was really hoping that it would just punch it up and be better than the second one and maybe even be as good as the first, but I was just severely disappointed with this book. It's been a couple years since I've read it, but honestly I don't remember anything that happened. I just remember that I didn't care for this book at all. Question number 9. A book taking place in an unfortunate future. I chose Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I love this book. I thought it was a great book, really well written, and I loved all the little 80s facts and trivia in it. In this book, people's lives revolve around virtual reality, and they go to school through VR, they play, they interact, they do everything through VR. When people are able to hide their real face, they become a different person, and they're usually not as nice as they would be in person, and I just feel like it would be really sad to lose all that person-to-person interaction. Question number 10 is a book that gets unfortunately plot heavy towards the end. I honestly can't think of anything for this question. Yeah, I have no answers. If you have one, please put it down in the comments and let me know if there's a book that you thought was really plot heavy towards the end. I really can't think of one. Question number 11. A book with unfortunate themes of mental health. I'm going to say The Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. There's a group of people called Pretties, and these people have perfectly symmetrical faces. They get surgeries to make themselves look better and better, and they are the top of society. Throughout the series, it just gets worse and worse, and the main character even goes through a phase of cutting herself to get the adrenaline she needs to do certain things. And while I did kind of enjoy the book, I definitely was a little turned off by the things that they were doing and the things that were happening in the book. Question number 12. A book with an unfortunate family. I read Matilda with my daughter about a year ago, and Matilda has the worst family ever. Her parents don't care for her at all. She's walking to the library by herself when she's 4 or 5 years old. Her older brother is nothing but mean to her, and they don't believe anything that she tells them, and it's just a terrible situation that she's in. Question 13. A book you unfortunately wish you could fortunately read for the first time. I'm gonna have to go with The Giver by Lois Lowry. This is, like you guys know, this is my all-time favorite book, and just to be able to read it again with fresh eyes would be amazing and wonderful and great. That's all I have for you guys today. I'm not really going to tag anybody because I don't know very many people yet, but if you like a series of unfortunate events, then please go ahead and do this tag. I tag you now.